Right, last video of today is Dave Fenley Grandpa. 39 million views in 4 years. Good going, mate. That's 10 million a year almost. That's coming next. Guys, whilst this is loading, please do subscribe, press the bell. It just enables me to get more engagement and cover more music. And tell me what to listen to that's unusual. Right, let's go. Nice.
Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Sometimes it feels like this world's gone crazy. Grandpa, take me back to yesterday, when the line between right and wrong didn't seem so hazy. Did lovers really fall in love to stay and stand beside each other come one may? Was a promise really something people kept, not just something they would say? Did families really bow their heads to pray? Did daddies really never go away? Whoa, whoa, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Grandpa, everything is changing fast. Oh, we call it progress, but I just don't know. Oh, Grandpa, let's wander back into the past and paint me a picture of long ago. Did lovers really fall in love to stay and stand beside each other come one may? Was a promise really something people kept, not just something they would say and then forget? Families really bow their heads to pray. Did daddies really never go away? Whoa, whoa, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Whoa, whoa, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days.
Wow, how beautiful with that. I've seen that it's official video, the Judds cover, so it'll be interesting to know what, listen to the original and see who else might have covered it. Very deep words in that. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. Again, now when I end on these videos, you guys can just end it now if you want to and just think, yeah, okay, he's listened to it, his reaction was wow, if you want. But if you look at the logo of this channel, it's philosophy and music, and I do try and want to go that way. And when I say philosophy, I don't mean from a pretentious perspective, I know it all kind of view. I mean as in like trying to find meaning in a song as a part of my reaction. And I think there was a foundation of wisdom in there. I think grandparents, we probably overtell, that's the wrong word, we probably keep telling the same story of our dead forefathers. And I have heard somebody say something similar to that. I don't think we invent a lot of stories. I think we retell the same story and the same principles, and these principles are almost foundations of human wisdom. I mean, our grandparents, they lived in a world where wisdom wasn't sought with endless information and intellect. You know, for example, somebody who can do a pub quiz isn't necessarily somebody that's very wise. And I think the reason for that is intellectualism. For me, is somebody who's intellectual is somebody who can manifest knowledge, usually clinical knowledge, manifests in practically. So somebody, for example, a doctor, for example, this may not be the Webster definition, but let's say a doctor, somebody who does amazing in their exams, they know all the papers, they've got a really good memory, they pass their exams because of their amazing ability to remember facts, their amazing commitment to that line of education and academia, and they're very clinical, in the literal sense, and they're an amazing doctor. That for me is somebody who's intellectual, right? They can go on and have an amazing career as a doctor. They can make a lot of money as a doctor, and I think you can be very materialistically and academically successful from intellectualism. Wisdom will not necessarily get you that. You can't always become monetary value. You can't always become wealthy by being wise, but you can become wealthy by being intellectual. And I think that's one of the reasons wisdom has diluted and intellectualism is seen more as a substitute to wisdom, and I don't think that should be the case. I'll give you an example. I went to do a job once at a man's house called Don. He was a very old army boy. He must have been about 85, 90. Me and my brother went and did some construction work for him in a construction business, and I remember going to his garage, and he had every single tool, the shape of the tool drawn on the back of the board. Every tool was in place, and I said, "Oh, Don, you keep everything very tidy." And he said, "I spend an hour after using my tools cleaning them, oiling them, making sure they go precisely in the correct place." That might sound like OCD, it might sound like a waste of time, but for me there's a great wisdom in that. There's a great wisdom in that simplicity, the observation, the patience and the experience to do something and do it with respect and do it right. Now he's kept, and he was telling me, he kept a trowel. A trowel is something you do skimming with, or you can do skimming with. He's kept the same trowel, I think it was over 50 years, and he showed me that trowel. It's impeccable. You can tell it's been used, but it's in such good condition. And he's somebody that buys once, repairs many times, and lives a very simple life. But he's very wealthy. He's ex-army. Maybe he's learned learn about value. And I think that kind of wisdom and that value is a very much of the old school. But I think humans are also self-regulated. I think we ourselves will want to go back to old values and old principles. The value of hard work, for example, it wasn't value of hard work for my grandparents and a lot of the old boys. It wasn't just to make ends meet. It was a testament to character. Things were done with pride. Labor was done with pride, not just for the reward, but because it was done with pride. I remember carpenters who take loads of pride in their work. I'll give you one example. If you go out your house or wherever you are now, you look at your lampposts. You look at a lamppost now, this might be a silly example, but I'm going to give it. If I look at a lamppost now, it's a metal tube like that, and it's got a light on it, an LED light. And look at a lamppost from the Victoria era in the UK. beautiful, elegant shapes and so much craftsmanship and art that's gone into it. And the lantern itself was just amazing. You know, so much pride went into work. I think also, you know, there's that respect as a guiding principle as well. You know, respect for others, respect for nature, respect for tradition, respect for the foundations of life. You know, the value in listening more than speaking, which is ironic coming from me, but you know, that it's also that. See, these are the beauty and the values of simplicity. You know, rather than chasing the latest and the greatest thing, the new vibe, the new trend, it's being content with the small joys. You know, something, for example, like handwritten letters. You know, getting a letter through the post, reading it, knowing that someone's taken the time to write this, or the smell of fresh bread, or the sun coming through the window on a Sunday morning. You know, let life slow down. And there's a guy called John Butler. He talks a lot about the beauty in stillness. I'll give you an example just before I go, because I feel like I am sounding a bit pretentious now, right? There's a lot of shit that happens there's a lot of shit happening right now in the world. The world is becoming a bit more extreme left and extreme right. People, for some bizarre reason, don't find strength in the middle, and I think that's where the strength is. But because chaos is awful, you know, but people presume automatically order is great. But look at the most orderly. Today happens to be the 80th anniversary of the Auschwitz liberation, and the reason for Auschwitz was extreme order, not extreme chaos. So neither are great. You know, there is a balance, there is a equilibrium measure. You know, the yin and the yang, and the in between, the snake in between is the sweet spot. And I was going to say the beauty in finding something so simple. John Butler he said in one of his lectures, just turn the dial down. Turn the dial down of the extreme left and the extreme right. Turn the dial down of politics. Turn the dial down of war, news, and just listen to nature. I know it sounds a bit, you know, happy clappy, but just listen to the birds, listen to the rustle of trees, feel the wind on your face and all that lovely natural stuff. And therefore you won't be subject to them torments. You won't be subject to the external influences that can have a bearing on you. You know, for example, do you support Israel or do you support Hamas and Palestine? Sorry, I'm not putting them two together, but you know what I mean. Oh, you support Israel? Well, you support Palestine? Oh, therefore you're a... I'm not going to say the word. But how about I don't support either? I just support innocent people not being slaughtered. I support, you know, how about I don't have a side? I just hate war. I hate war, but I love justice, you know. How about I'm not a left, I'm not a right. How about I'm perfectly happily in the middle. That doesn't mean my ass is sore from sitting on the fence. It means that I don't feel an obligation to support something I truly don't believe in or value. Gratitude, you know, they were grateful for what they had, even when it was little. You know, I think gratitude is something that's hugely missing in today's society. There's a massive sense of entitlement, which has extinguished gratitude. And I'm not just talking about saying thank you. I'm on about when something or someone does something that benefits you, is not just to remember it, but to let your gratitude for that action or whatever it is manifest in your action, anyway, or your reaction. So I'm going to leave it there, because I've gone on a bit can't remember what song it was now. Dave Fenley Grandpa, beautiful song, very timely. I am going to rate it. I think I love the simplicity of the song. I love the vocals, and I love the fact that it is a cover. I don't know why, but I do. And I love his soulfulness in his voice. So I'm going to give that a very solid 9 out of 10, 90%. All right, guys, thank you very much. Cheers, bye.